Welcome back. Well, by this time last month, police were on their way to arrest a man featured in the programme. Not quite such a swift response tonight, but nevertheless, your calls have been very encouraging. In at least 2 cases, there have been a number of calls giving the same name.
We've had what Anne Harrison, the detective on the first case, calls an excellent response to the appeal on the kidnapping of a bank manager's girlfriend in Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire. Whoever did it plainly didn't know that British banks have a routine response to random demands. The crime was bound to fail, but it was nonetheless an appallingly terrifying experience.
If you do what I say, I must emphasise though, you call the police, that's it.
Thank you very much. Now that was the real voice of the abductor. Anne Harrison, why an excellent response? What have you got that so excites you?
Well, we have had over 180 calls in relation to this offence. And although I should say a lot of people have rung up telling us that this is probably a BT vehicle, we are aware of that.
That's the grey van with the yellow interior that was used for the abduction.
Right.
Now, you recovered that van. I didn't make that clear, perhaps, during the earlier programme.
Yes, we have recovered the van, and we're particularly interested to know if anybody saw the van between the 13th and the 26th of June parked in their street.
Now, several people have given names, and in one case I saw an address as well for the men, and particularly the E-fits that you've got. There was one man you had 2 E-fits of because 2 different people saw him.
Yes, we have had a very encouraging response. We have had one name featuring on a couple of occasions. We have had
That's the guy on the right
names.
in this one.
That's right. The guy on the right.
We've got another E-fit of him. That's him again.
Yes, we have a possible name for him, but I should say that many people have rung up giving us different names, and of course we will be investigating all of the names that have been proposed to us.
All right, Anne. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, one of the crimes we've been most anxious to solve tonight has been the rape of a woman in Dewsbury, Yorkshire. It happened 3 weeks ago when she was abducted from the street by a man in a maroon Vauxhall Cavalier. She was taken to a riverbank and was lucky to escape with her life. Well, Don Harrington, are you happy with the calls you've received?
I'm over the moon, and we're really delighted. We've had over 70 calls, and many of those were from the Dewsbury area. I'm really pleased that the people around the Dewsbury area have taken the time to ring in. Now, if anybody has any more information, do get in touch with us.
We did make an appeal for women who may have been approached by this man in the past. Did you get any response there?
I did, yes. I've had 3 calls indicating that there may be some connection with something in the past, and these, of course, will be thoroughly investigated.
And what about the car he was driving, which, as you said, was a maroon Cavalier with 2 child booster seats in it?
That's right, yes. I again appeal to people, if anybody has any information at all, 1 phone call will do about the car, especially with the booster seats in it. Do get in touch with us straight away.
And this man is extremely violent.
This is an extremely violent man who we must arrest as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Well, have we found our next set of faces? Firstly, Jojo Maloney. Well, over 20 calls now, sightings all over the UK. Next to Alistair Liddell, solicitor from Scotland. One particularly good call saying he was recently seen en route to France, but that looks promising. And finally, Ian Ronald Tucker and Mark O'Connell. Again, over 20 calls. Quite a few reinforcing information already known, but if you know where any of these faces are, still keep ringing.
We really didn't know what to expect in the next case. Last time we featured it, we got very few calls indeed. Tonight, we have more than 70, and it's looking very promising indeed. It's known as Operation Tornado, at least the police investigation is. It's a combined operation involving 13 different police forces trying to stop a lone gunman who for 18 months has been terrorising cashiers at building society branches. Now, Tony Crowther, you've had a large number of names coming in. I think some of them have really interested you.
One in particular has got us quite excited, and we're still checking out the details around that. We do need more calls, and particularly of the Shrewsbury man. You know that he went into a building society on the 14th of May of this year. He was carrying with him a Burkatex bag.
This is the guy. Now, this could be a completely innocent shopper who went into the building society branch. But if it's you, 14th of May, for heaven's sake, let us know. And if you might recognise yourself, you were carrying, whoever it was carrying a bag like this which says Burkatex on it. I don't know if you can see that. If that was you, we very much need to hear from you. If not, that could well be your gunman.
He could be a very good suspect here.
Thank you very much.
Well, now to an aggressive attack by 2 gunmen on a jeweller's in the heart of Oxford.
Get up! Get up! Get the windows open. Open the windows.
Well, Kevin Cox, surprisingly, because that security guard was pretty heavily disguised. You've had an encouraging call on that one.
We have. We've had a phone call, actually 2 phone calls, both from the same person, giving us a name and put other details regarding that security guard.
Now, we showed an e-fit of what we believe was the getaway driver in this case.
Yeah.
Any encouraging calls on him?
Yes, 3 or 4 calls giving us names of possibles, and it's something that we can follow up.
Now, there was a driver of a dark-coloured golf car parked not far away, wearing rather suspiciously some surgical gloves. Any move on that?
Again, we've had calls in relation to that person, and again, it's more names that we can look at and hopefully try and identify that person.
And what about the appeal for 2 men seen walking past the jewellers about an hour before it happened?
Yeah, 22 minutes past 8 that morning, 2 men are seen walking past the jewellers, and I think it's very, very important we do identify those people as potential witnesses.
So keep those calls coming.
Yes, please.
Thanks.
Well, first that burglary of gold and jewellery at Kingsbury. We've had 3 calls from different police officers giving us the same name, so that looks really promising. And then 3 robberies that I covered. Le Coq Sportif in Northumbria. Well, we've only had 4 calls, but 2 have given us names and a possible link to another crime. Then Norfolk Rolex robbery, 6 calls there, 3 different names, but 1 name's been given 3 times. And there's also a PC with a video in Rotherham committing another crime, not the PC, who says he's got better pictures, so if we don't get him this month, we might show him again next. Wendover service station, only 7 calls, a surprisingly disappointing result, but there are 2 possible names to follow up and a link to further information. And then lastly, that South London drug dealer. We've got a caller pleading with us to re-show the picture. There he is, but he's already given us a name and links to other offences that have been committed. So, lots more to follow up. That's not the end of the story.
We've had 27, 28, 29 calls, something like that, on the bizarre robbery at Woking in Surrey. Bizarre because it targeted a business that has virtually no money on the premises. Just before Christmas, the weekend before Christmas, a young man went into a vet surgery and suddenly rounded on the nurse.
She's got the dog. She'll be down in a minute.
Right.
Lock the door.
Huh?
Lock the door. Where'd you keep the money?
Kieran Diamond, all sorts of new leads on this, though not a huge number of calls, but you're only interested in 2 of them, I gather.
Well, we're not discounting that. I mean, we've had a positive number of calls tonight, approximately 25 to 30, but in particular 2 which are quite interesting. One from a prison officer who believes he might have identified the suspect when he was in prison, and secondly from the police officer who believes that he works in the area where this gentleman frequents.
So this inquiry could make movement pretty quickly?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, thank you. Good.
Well, our lines here in the studio are staying open until midnight, but you'll see other numbers in a moment. They're also listed on CFAX on page 617. Now, if you're on the internet, you can reach us at Crimewatch UK at the BBC. That's CWUK at bbc.co.uk. If you've been the victim of a crime and you'd like someone to offer you support, then ring Victim Support Line on 0845 30 30 900. And if you've any information on any crime, you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously, if you like, on 0800 555 111.
Join us a month from now on Tuesday, August the 11th. And in the meantime, you can surf us on the web. All tonight's cases and a great deal more are on the World Wide Web. The address is bbc.co.uk/Crimewatch. So from now on, as we observed earlier tonight, any criminal on Crimewatch will be featured around the globe. So unless we're seeking you, don't have nightmares. Sleep well. Good night.
Good night.